Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, back with another Drake's Corner podcast. I'm your host, Drake Tharp, and man, have we had a week of sports news. The NFL week 5, I believe it was. Just a lot of TMZ-esque drama, a few jabs thrown, and I'm not talking with the words, I'm talking with literal bops to the face. We'll get into that if you know what I'm hinting at. But let's talk about the first thing that happened. Actually, on the Monday night game, Raiders-Chiefs, and we know the result. Chiefs win in heartbreaking fashion towards the Raiders. And then after the game, there was a little shove. The shove heard around the world, per se. And it was between Davante Adams and a cameraman. Davante Adams doing the pushing. And, there was a lot, I'll show the clip here, there was a lot of just murmuring about, how unprofessional this push was, how he could do such a thing. Listen, this wasn't a punch thrown. We'll talk about punches thrown later, okay? We'll get to that. But this was nothing, malicious or anything, that should be hyped up more than it is, okay? And if you see an angle, it shows it happened faster than, expected. He didn't premeditate pushing this guy. He didn't seek him out and say, oh, I'm pissed, I'm going to shove this guy over. No, okay, let's be honest. The dude got in his way. And if you see the clip I just showed, this is in real life speed. This is over dramatized to a T, okay? An apology is the only thing necessary, as the guy did get in his way, okay? There should be no fine from the NFL. There should be no suspension. When you lose by a point, yeah, don't get in somebody's way who's, clearly 100 pounds more than you. And he walked right in front of him with a camera, okay? He didn't fully shove him into a guardrail. This was a little shove, okay? This, I don't like all the hate going towards Davante Adams over this. It was the heat of the moment. It happened a lot faster than, we can see on video in real time. He didn't seek this guy out to push him over. He said he was sorry, and I believe that's the only thing necessary. The guy got in his way. All of this, I could go on and on. This is over-dramatized to a T, like I already said before. Not the best decision to, put your hands on the guy, but, if he's getting in your way, what are you going to do? Oh, hey, I just lost by a point. Let me just scoot past you here. No athlete's going to do that. They're full of testosterone after a game. They're full of, they've been getting hit all game. What do you want this guy to do? Just, put all his morals down? No, it wasn't morally incorrect. The guy got in his way, and he's a star player on a bad team right now. He's going to feel that way. Maybe not the best way to handle it, but I don't think anything should be, thrown his way, especially after the post game where he said, he apologized, okay? So you can't expect these athletes to be perfect in every way, shape, or form. That leads us to our next guy, Draymond Green, throwing a jab at Jordan Poole. We're jumping sports here, but Draymond Green was also involved in an altercation with Jordan Poole at practice. TMZ paid $2.6 million for this video for a reason, and it's one of, you don't often get these, practice footage, that's talked about where, infamous. There's a lot of infamous practice moments in NBA history, and Michael Jordan punching Steve Kerr, that could be one, or Kobe Bryant telling his Lakers teammates to stop fucking around, essentially. But here we have some practice footage because it was the punch heard around the world. Davante Adams had the shove heard around the world. Now Draymond has the punch heard around the world. Let's get into the kind of analytics of this. Some of the best players in history are known for getting in brawls, okay? And in games, getting in brawls in games on the court, let alone practice, okay? Shaq and Charles Barkley literally got in a punching match. Michael Jordan has punched Steve Kerr in practice. Once again, Charles Barkley even punched a player in the Olympics, okay? These guys are, renowned basketball players. They're renowned. They're one of the best to ever do it. And, finally that we have, footage of something in current day, and it doesn't seem to happen anymore as it used to be, which is kind of ironic. This is what competitors do. They fight, and especially someone like Draymond Green. He is one of the first guys I'd expect to. Not saying it's cancerous, but he's a competitive guy. I think it's really funny because I saw a lot of the same people, who'd say, oh, I miss the olden days of basketball where guys got in fights and, grit and grind, and Larry Bird was throwing punches at Robert Parrish. And then the same guys are saying, Draymond Green should be suspended for his actions, or Draymond should, you can't do something like that. And it's the same people saying they miss the old grit and grind of the NBA. Some of the old heads, reminding themselves, and it's the same guys who want this old style of NBA back who are saying Draymond Green should be punished for what he did. Okay, like I said with the Davante Adams spiel, they're competitors. They're going to fight, and, sure, an internal suspension is probably necessary, but nothing by the league. This is a team thing. It's practice. They're with these guys every day, and this isn't, if you're going to compare your own job to this, obviously you're not going to fist fight with your coworkers, but when they're, running around sweating the entire time, it's a different game when you're talking athletics. Yeah, fights don't happen at work like this, but when you have a young kid jawing at you about his contract and, making fun of how you play after, dealing with stuff in your personal life, that was, what one of the sources said, that Draymond was having essentially a rough day. We're all allowed to, have rough days. And, it's a kid running his mouth about his contract, and yeah, he got humbled. I'm sure this isn't going to affect their play at all, especially since they're, in my opinion, far leagues ahead of any other team right now in basketball, just the way they play. You can't go out on one end and say, oh, I miss the old basketball where guys were punching each other every game, and then say Draymond Green should be, punished by the league for this, okay? And it doesn't even happen as much as it used to. So it's just a lot. I've seen a lot of hypocrisy over the past 48 hours since this has happened. So, it's just, some of the best in history are known for fighting. LeBron James blowing up on Mario Chalmers, back on the Heat. It's just one I can remember. The infamous Pistons brawl, clearly a different situation. Everything that everyone got out of that was deserved. But yeah, you can't expect, roses and sunflowers in a basketball setting with a ton of competitors. Okay, it may not be as gritty as football, but I make my case here. So, I'm on the defense of both Davante Adams and Draymond Green here. In the case of an athlete, it's situational to the point where sometimes athletes are wrong, sometimes athletes are right. But I've seen, growing over time, I've seen a lot less intense situations happen. And over time, it just seems like people come to just random people's defense, not even knowing the whole story. And when you're surrounded by crowds, media, your own teammates, just stuff like that, and I've always thought, post-game stuff after, a heartbreaking loss, shoving a microphone in somebody's face, time after time after time for years on end in front of star players. I think it's a weird thing, and I think, it's a lot of patience for these guys, and, just athletes in general have, equivalent levels of patience probably to a doctor, both getting paid amazingly, so I think that helps out a lot, but the patience that they deal with a lot of these idiots, it's remarkable. So that's my spiel on these athletes, throwing jabs, throwing shoves. I don't have a problem with it. I think people need to stop being idiots, and I think hypocrisy plays a big part, and media drives a lot of, I would consider myself a part of the media, but I'm just, telling it how it is rather than pushing the agenda per se. So, yeah, that's my spiel on violence with athletes. I wouldn't even call it, it's not violence. It's, part of the game. It's part of the game. It's all part of the game. And there should be no suspensions, no, maybe by the team, maybe a sit down. That's about it. Anyway, let's move on to it. The Fab 5 parlay. Here's, I got 5 bets, 2 money line, 2 spread bets, and 1 over-under, like we always do. And if you want to win some money, lay some money on this sucker right here for this parlay. Money line, we're throwing a baseball one here. Money line Braves against the Phillies. I think the Phillies suck. I'm not going to go into detail about baseball just because I'm not insanely educated. But just from what I saw, I like the Braves. I like the Braves here. Money line Braves. Money line Buccaneers. They play the Steelers. The Steelers are a dumpster fire right now. Spread bets. Here we go. I got Patriots 3.5 point underdogs. Bears 1.5 or 1 point favorites essentially. Half point favorites. And over under Ravens Giants. I got them over 44.5. Yeah, that is my Fab 5 parlay. I should do updates on how these perform. I need to start doing that so I can become a renowned bettor through the YouTube community. Anyway, NFL Power Rankings, you know what time it is. Main event of the show, baby. Number 10. Here we go. The Dallas Cowboys are back in winning fashion. They're 4-1. This win against the Rams, has risen their stock, pedestal by a million. Okay, their offense isn't insanely, they're not performing to an outstanding level, but my God, their defense, Micah Parsons playing at Defensive Player of the Year level, especially against a team like the Rams. Pound for pound, I think the Dallas Cowboys have one of the best defenses in the league. And when I say pound for pound, I mean talent overall. Okay, sometimes teams can have, amazing players on defense and just not perform well under scheme. Example A, the Steelers. They lost 38-3, and they have, talent all around. They're missing TJ Watt, though, but hence my point. The offense needs work, but Cooper Rush getting it done, undefeated as a starter. The Cowboys may be thinking, Dak Prescott, trade block? I don't know. Jerry Jones loves a winning quarterback, and he loves making those big decisions where he, changes starters, out of nowhere. So, number 10, I got the Cowboys. They're playing at a dynamic, kind of close to elite level. Number 9, I got the Packers. A tough London loss against the Giants, drops them down a little bit. But this, it's the talent ceiling, in my opinion. That's why they lost. The Packers don't have, enough big-time playmakers, to lead them to, maybe deep into the playoffs. They obviously have a worse team than last year. And the defense just shut down against the Giants late in the game. There was no stopping Saquon Barkley. And, the Packers, they'll stay around in that top 10 spot, but I do not see a high ceiling for them, especially considering their wide receiver talent. And they mainly just focus on, kind of running the ball with their two-back combo, and that's about it. They don't have a high ceiling, but they have Aaron Rodgers. They'll get regular season dubs, but they're not going to perform well late in the playoffs. Bold prediction. Boom. Number 8, I got the Giants. Well, aren't we all surprised? Saquon Barkley looks like a top 3 running back in the league after a season-ending injury last year. Their defensive coverage looks amazing. Brian DeBoer is putting this team already in a playoff position. They have, a bright-ass future and might sneak into a wild card spot considering they're just, taking down, teams, and they play hard. They play hard, and it's not, rocket science to figure that out if you watch their games. They're, you'd expect Daniel Jones. This is his last, this is his make or break year. And he's performing under pressure. All these guys are performing under pressure, but at the same time, they're playing like they have nothing to lose. They're playing hard. They're sick of the shitty, New York Giants narrative. And, well, they're a top 10 team in the league right now. That division looks great. Giants look great. Cowboys look good. Eagles, we'll talk about them here in a second. But number 8, I got the Giants. Number 7, the Bucks. The only reason I still have them in this top 10 list, well, mainly because of, they're not playing to their full potential, and their potential is what's getting them close dubs and keeping them in the top 10 of my list. They're 3-2, and while it's still early, they have a Super Bowl ceiling, obviously, considering Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, and a great defense on paper. It's still early in the season. We see this all the time with, slow rising teams, and then they kick it in the gear towards the end of the year. I think that's exactly what's going to happen with the Bucks, but they're staying at number 7 on my list. Number 6, I got the Vikings. They are performing well. They're 4-1, and they love to start off their games extremely hot, getting Justin Jefferson involved, who, mainly their offense is built around. Their offensive capabilities are one of the best in the league, and if their offensive stars can stay healthy, I could possibly see an NFC championship run, in their future. Okay, I think they're a top 3 team in the NFC right now. And yeah, they're playing at a top tier level. They kind of slid away the game against my Bears last week, but they handled business in the first half. And, it's a learning experience still through week 5 of the season. So yeah, I mean, they're 4-1 and they have all the offensive talent in the world, and I could see an NFC championship. We'll see. Number 5, another NFC team, the 49ers. I didn't get a chance to catch, their game against the Panthers, but seeing the score, they're back to their dominant ways, okay? I wasn't really high on the 49ers to start the season, but I see them highly as a Super Bowl contender right now, considering their defense. I think pound for pound, they are the best defense in the league, fully healthy. they have all the weapons all around on offense. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. They hash out running backs in and out, and they just need to stay healthy on the defensive end, in my opinion, to secure a deep playoff run. And I think they're likely for one. They're hot. They're hot right now. Number 4, I got the Ravens. They secured a win over division rival, the Bengals, and this is exactly what they need. A close win where they finally close one out. I think I saw a stat that said they've been leading 98% of the time in their games, and they should be undefeated. It's, considering how they perform and then just, kind of choke in the last few minutes of the game. It happened against the Bills. It happened against the Dolphins. Those are two, good teams. They have a Super Bowl ceiling. And, quite possibly the MVP at quarterback. So a win like this will catapult them, I think, into the elite level. But the next 3 teams, in my opinion, are in that elite category. Number 3, the Chiefs. The only reason they drop a spot is due to a close game. But this is going to happen against a division rival like the Raiders. They couldn't seem to, they started off poorly, but, they're the best offense in the league with, Travis Kelce catching 4 touchdowns. And, I honestly think they're in their own realm offensively. And we know the deal with them. We know Patrick Mahomes. We know Andy Reid. We know that scheme. They find ways to win offensively. The defense could use a tad bit of work, obviously, but that hasn't been their kind of protege throughout their years of success here. Number 2, I got the Bills. I think this will be the AFC title game. Once again, we're going to see it, Bills-Chiefs. One word, domination for the Bills. Josh Allen may have jumped into the top of the MVP list, putting up, full game stats at halftime against the Steelers. To put up that kind of performance against the Steelers defense makes them Super Bowl favorites. You focus on Stephon Diggs, and then a guy like Gabriel Davis hops out for 160 and 3 touchdowns. So, they're just dominant all around. They are the most balanced team in the league, in my opinion. Number 1, I have the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are pound for pound better than, maybe 3 of the teams on this list, but they're 5-0. What more is there to say? Other teams have faced bumps in the road, and they've went down, like the Bills and Chiefs. But it wasn't pretty against the Cardinals, but they continue to find ways to win. They're going to face bumps in the road, but they're the face of the NFC right now. They're undefeated. Jalen Hurts is playing at an elite level. They're the most balanced team, in my opinion, in the NFC. And I think they're the favorites in the NFC right now. Obviously, they're 5-0. They have it all built out right now. So that is my power rankings. Once again, top 10. We're going to do this every week of the NFL season. I cannot wait till the latter half. And thank you guys for watching. This is another episode. And I appreciate all the views on the last episode. That was kind of a nice little surprise. I must have used the right tags or whatnot. I don't know. But let's continue growing. I love doing this. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.